Oh, let's see, is that recording? Looks like it's recording to me. Hey guys, Crusty Old Crow back again to do another tactical perspective toy review. Yeah, one of these. I'm going to do a head to toe on a couple of figures that, well, on one particular figure. And this is going to be different, guys, because a lot of you are probably going, wait a second, he's doing a Marvel figure. And he's doing a review on a Marvel figure. And this crow swears he's just about G.I. Joe classified. But guys, if you've been watching my tactical perspective stuff, if you've been watching the crow and his Triple C, Krusty Crow conversion corners, and all this other stuff that I've been doing lately, you know I'm going to tie it to Joe. You know these figures I do, they all come back to Joe. So how? Well, let's find out. So today we are going to go through a very fast slideshow. It's actually going to be probably one of the quicker reviews because this is so that tomorrow's video will make more sense, I'm hoping, or at least what I would like to talk about tonight. It's getting too late for it, so I'm going to talk about the rest of this tomorrow. I've broken it down into 2 videos. So let me get out my, by the way, going to GameStop today. Do you know they give free stuff out at GameStop? Like, these are up on the mask. They're little masks for your kids, you know, things like that. They got a whole bunch of them. If you go to the deal shop corner, they got them marked as $0.00. I think that's really great. We're taking international flights. I don't know what the health situation is going to be soon, so at least I know my kid's got a free mask from GameStop. What a neat little thing. So yeah, Crow went to GameStop today. And the review today for the tactical perspective comes from what I picked up at the GameStop, right? So before we get into the GameStop, in order to understand why I'm buying Marvel Legends, it all starts with this action figure right here. This Cobra Baroness from the Cobra Coil set, number 29 or 17, I can't remember, 29 or 17 in the classified line. When I first started collecting, I had a real hard time getting Breaker and the Ram, but I found a guy who was selling a Breaker and a Ram complete with a Cobra Baroness and Coil. I already had the Baroness and Coil. I had picked it up on a clearance sale at Toys R Us, but the price was right, so I bought the second one with the Ram because he didn't want to break up the 2 boxes, and I understood that. Thought I'd resell it. Decided I was going to keep it because I saw something in it. Something. There was another character here that wasn't the Baroness, and I had 2 bikes that was army building. This was army building to me. But I never found the right thing for this. You know, for a while, it led me to go to GameStop. And when I went to GameStop, I found this figure, and I thought, yeah, I really like that head. You know, and I could figure out things to do with that body, but I had never tried doing conversions before. To me, just head swapping with a character, that was as kit bashing as I'm going to do, as much of a conversion of that character as I could do. I can't even call it conversion because I never really lifted much except a paintbrush to finish that off. And I did a couple things to the body, but it bounced around in limbo. I never knew what to do with it, right? And yet this character remained a second Baroness, a second Coil Rider, and not much more than a fancied out different head, right? Which is this one. But over time, I learned what I really liked about this figure was the simplicity of the actual figure itself. It was a very smooth figure with lots of reasons to add on. And the reason I was learning that was because I was getting more and more experience with Joe figures. Those second chest layers, those articulation issues, and everything like that. And for my very first Marvel character from the Marvel Legends series that I ever bought, it was fully compatible with everything I saw in Classified, right down to weapons, hands, and the way the figure operated, the scale, everything. But, you know, that's the benefit of everything being through Hasbro, right? So fast forward a little later, and don't I just pick up another Tigra, right? So while I do this, I'm just going to take you over to our little scene here. What is this scene all about? Well, you know, I really like that Tigra figure. I thought it was a really great Tigra figure. I really did. And it came with some extra bits. And there is a story going on here. This is me being my tricky sets. And they're terrible sets until I can get my backdrops finished. But there's a little explanation as to why all these characters are showing up right now, right? But clearly my review is about these Marvel figures. So What was it about Tiger that I liked? It was, again, that articulation. No, it wasn't the skimpy bikini. There's not much you can do for storytelling in a bikini unless you have other Marvel characters. It doesn't really fit in. This character's always been aside. I joked about it being my Tiger Force mascot at best. But I have mine displayed, as you can see, with the angry face and the claws out, right? And there's a good reason why. Because I had made plans for the other one. And so, really quick... The plans were, I'm converting this into my pilot, night owl. And it's a slow go, but there's the Yelena Belova body that goes with this here head originally, right? Which I also painted that black, and coincidentally, I'm keeping a lot of black, but no, this head isn't returning back to the body. I snatched a harness off of a Star Wars figure, and I've did some stuff. Clearly, it's a work in progress, but it's getting there. It's taking form, but the biggest pride of that one was the Uzi I did. And it's going to get another wash to dull it down, but that's nowhere near done. But I digress. I'm straying. What really grabbed me was the price, and that's what this is about, guys. I am a responsible hobbyist as much as I can be. I think all hobbyists, especially collectors, really have issues keeping that wallet in check. And some are really good at it, and then others are really bad at it. And then there's guys like me, which have... we have to have people policing us, like our spouse or what have you, right? Or be reminded constantly that, you just bought something. But when things are on clearance sales and bargain prices is when I really like to strike for what I'm calling my experimentation in all this. So Tigra was a good price. I think I paid $12 or something like that for her. Anyways, fast forward months later, and before I do, fast forward months later, and I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I do know I'm enjoying conversion work. And so what happened? I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't enjoying it. What all happened? Well, we fast forward again. Now, these aren't the ones I found, right? You guys know it really started with Bull and getting some Crimson Guard Immortal design. And so the two McFarlane artist proofs I bought is when I really committed to the idea of doing conversions, right? So, but that's not about them. I just pulled these up because I got the bloodied versions of these two. Well, this one at least, and Diego for $5. And look at that. Unbloodied, $22, and that's considered a clearance sale. Anyways, I go back to GameStop, and guys, before I forget, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and welcome all you new subscribers. Thanks for showing up. Really good to have you here. Hope you enjoy the channel. Anyways, I went there for this. Everett Ross, which you saw me yesterday, if you watched my other video, I was happy about it because I had a plan for this guy, and I'll talk about it at the end, right? But Everett Ross, from the movie Black Panther, played by Martin Freeman, thank you, from the Lord of the Rings and Hobbits. Hobbitses are in my collection. And here he is up there. Look at that. And I'll tell you, what I really like about this figure, besides the beautiful suit, that's a beautiful suit, and those loafers are fantastic, except they don't take pegs at all. They're less than maybe 2 millimeters deep, and you can't fit a peg. But what I really was enjoying about this figure, besides it's a great head sculpt for a serious businessman, is it's a good plain clothes business suit figure. And I don't see many of that with the kind of articulation that Marvel and Hasbro put together for this character, right? This is a very plain suited guy, but I also love the fact that his left hand was designed to be a supporting hand for firing his pistol. That I could fully extend those arms out, or I could tuck them in just like this. And that grip it fits around his other hand perfectly. So I respect those details. And so I had a plan for why I wanted a plain suited character to work a conversion with, right? So that's why I got him. And if you have a look at the box, Marvel series is something I will criticize their boxing for, both for good and bad. I mean, they went for the plastic free as well. It was all a Hasbro bride. But there's your Atuma Build-A-Figure in it. This one does come with Atuma's arm, his little axe, and his pike, right? All of which I have stowed away because when you convert, you've got plans, right? And I have plans for that. But all he comes for his own personal kit is just that nifty little pistol, that shield issue or whatever issue pistol that he gets. So, and then the legal gobbledygook and everything like that. And that was the original platinum price, but I peeled off the price, guys. I got them for like 24 bucks or something like that. 22 bucks. They're having a big sale out there. But he wasn't complete, and there was something I knew I needed for him. So that's as far as the review on him goes, okay? But there's the closer picture, and like I said, it was the photo that sold me. I didn't find out about the hand today. It's the look on the face. And you guys know, if you watch my last video, that is going to be what I am using, I think, for my short fuse character. I'm going to do a short fuse custom variant for my RDC probably, or for Desert Combat. I've got it started off, but that is going to be the head I want for it, because I want short fuse to be a more senior ranking NCO than he was when we first met him in 82. But the body, I have a different plan for. But I didn't know much about Everett Ross in the comics. I wasn't collecting Black Panther at any point. I was more of an X-Men kind of kid. But I didn't really know if he had a lot of ties to the comics, or if he was somebody they introduced recently after his Black Panther appearances. But I do like the character. I just think that he's written kind of goofily, and I think that's a damn shame to do to Martin Freeman, to make him the butt of a joke in a movie constantly. But somebody's got to do it, right? But apparently he's the butt of the joke in the comic quite a lot too. So what do you do? While I was at GameStop today, if you guys remember, I was joking about, well, I mean, you may not remember because you may not have watched the other video, but I was joking about, I picked this guy up at Toys R Us. This is a wrestler. His name escapes me right now. He was on clearance, but again, same scale, articulation points and whatnot. And I was saying, I'm going to turn this either into my own Dr. Mindbender variant, like an overweight out of shape perhaps, or just a goofier Mindbender, I don't know, or just a different Mindbender entirely. But I was looking at this cloak today. This figure went on sale. I don't remember what the price was, but I almost picked that up just for the cloak. And then I was like, well, maybe my figure wouldn't have to be out of shape. So I'm not sure. I might keep this to do the Dr. Mindbender. I might try and pick up a more better sculpted figure. I'm definitely not going to give up my gung-hos to do it. You know, although he's got the body physique, I want to keep that Chuck Liddell looking face for something else. Yeah, definitely somewhere there. But back to the the matter at hand, okay? Why was I going to GameStop for these Marvel figures? Because I'm a responsible person and conversions get expensive. But guys, if you're ever following Marvel, go to GameStop, because most of them are on sale right now, on average at $24 Canadian. I definitely have a list of ones I want to get, and you'll notice a theme running in the list of the Marvel figures I'm going to get. They're all suited, and they're all wearing more or less civilian attire. And if they're not, yeah, wow, what a deal. If they're not wearing a civilian attire, it is, again, those smooth detail features options on the where's that one? Like, just zero interruption on the figure as far as articulation. When I see a figure like that in the Marvel line, that can easily just have kit added to it, a couple of pieces swapped out or replaced, and that brings a better or different head sculpt and weapons to the table, yeah, I'll get on that all day. I mean, I find that a lot more appealing to do conversions with, it would seem, than, say, like grabbing a Spider-Man or an Iron Man or a Captain America or a Spawn, Superman, Batman. You know, all the iconic characters, right away, you're looking at them going like that. And even with Martin Freeman's character there, up there, Everett Ross there, I felt like, man, you know, you can tell it's Everett Ross, but by the time I put the bump helmet and everything else on there, it's not as clear, right? And when you see him as a short fuse, I'm hoping it works out. So we're going to get to the one that I did figure it out with, and it's the reason I'm doing this review. I have a favorite Marvel character right now, and it's not that, and it's not Yelena, and it's not even Everett. It was the guy I bought just for the head and then realized the body works just as well for the same principles I was talking about. And that is, oh, who's saying what to me? Oh, it's just a notification. Okay, go away. Yeah, I picked up Kid Omega from the X-Men Marvel Legends series. Quentin Quire. When I quit comics, Quentin Quire was just becoming a character, and he was going to be a thorn in the side. But I had to read up quickly on him because he's developed a lot since I left collecting comics entirely. I almost didn't recognize him, but I saw a lot of potential in this, and that he had the Fury haircut. Yeah, coming with a chode body build part can only help Mindbender's Laboratories. But he's been a major part of the X-Men since I left collecting comics. And he's an Omega level telepath, telekinetic, and one of the smartest people on the face of the planet. They say he's solving a billion brilliant problems at once in his mind at any given moment. He's been tied to the Phoenix and other things, but I guess one of the things he's known for is creating his own weapons, vehicles, and whatnot, and telekinetic energy, and he's just very aggressive. He's been both a hero and a villain. He's died and lived and everything like this, based off what I've read. But it's always been a very tumultuous relationship between his ego and his comrades, and loved and lost with this girl Sophie, one of the Stepford Cuckoos, who died, and then I don't know what went on there. I really didn't read up on it, but that hair was kind of where I was going with the kind of head I wanted to have on a character for my RDC, the Red Devil Company and Joe's. My Red Devil Company, I told you, is going to be a mix of Joe's and custom characters, right? Custom versions of Joe's or variants and my own creations. And I wanted to have a PR rep. So that's where we are doing this. We're going to take his body, that head. I am going to do some stuff to that head. And then that's going to be a day. I'm going to fix those glasses. The glasses are telekinetic energy and ridiculous. But I will get a fix on that. I did notice that if I tried to take them off, what ended up happening is they've got little holes boring them into, I believe, his nose. I've got to look further into that. But I think I'm going to heat press and tape and turn them into just standard types of glasses. I've got them with one of two different types of hand options. You have the whole open hand and closed hand, right? But it was that hair. Now, I'm not going to keep it pink. I'm clearly going to repaint his hair. And I probably will do some washes and some weathering and some paints to make it look like he's not bald on the sides, but, you know, it's just a very close 0 or 0.5 haircut on him there. We'll put some arms on those glasses probably if I don't get rid of them completely. But that's going to be the conversion I'm working with for what I'm calling the handler. The body, again, will you sure, Crow, you don't want to keep those hot pink stripes? No, they'll be gladly gotten rid of. I do think it's a very cool costume design. I didn't think I'd like hot pink on a male character. I definitely don't need the RuPaul look or whatever we're doing here, but or the hair, but the hair matches the striping. Overall, though, what impressed me was how articulate this character was. Again, just like the Belova character, and just like what I was seeing with Everett Ross and Tigra, was that the Marvel character was not obstructed by an insurmountable obstacle in its own kit and body design. What they brought to the table, I thought, was exceptional. Now, do I think that's a $37 model? No. That's why I bought it on sale. It's definitely a $20 model. 22, whatever I paid for it, 24. But it's versatile. Looking at that, repainting that, that's like having a grunt for your classified line. It's just a blank canvas of a uniform that you can add all those, you know, all types of accessories and everything to, and be justified. Now, the other thing it came with was that telekinetic shotgun you see here. That I did have to do a heat to try and straighten it out, but it's transparent and it's a sci-fi shotgun. I might not even bother doing anything with it, or it's not a shotgun, pardon me, it's a minigun. So well, that changes everything. I might very well do something with the minigun, but that goes into my bits box. That body is not claimed as far as any particular project right now. However, I do feel like it's earmarked for either a Cobra Siege Trooper or a RDC, but with 3D parts on their way, and I know there's a bunch of kit. What I love is that that I have a placeholder for doing some great conversions. You'll just need a head because that one's going over here. So with these figures, as impressive as the articulation and whatnot is, it's not like they're not without their flaws. One other thing I noticed, and I'm going to call it X-Men privilege instead of Joe privilege this week. With the hands that fire, that hold the shotgun, not once do you get a trigger figure in there, right? You have a trigger mechanism in that gun. Demonstrated here. Voila, right? He's got the trigger mech. But you'll notice there's no finger dedicated to squeezing a trigger, which only makes sense with X-Men privilege in that he's an Omega level telepath, telekinetic. He's firing mind bullets like Jack Black, right? So Tenacious D style gun. But guys, that's pretty much it for that. That is a placeholder for some 3D printed parts to try and come up with a new thing. That is a double dog dare to try and work my way around those glasses and to make my character, the handler, not look like an absolute putz. Wish me luck on that. Some bonuses that come with it, right? So look at the size of this chod body, right? And then I had this other Drax body left over for the Elena one. So now I just keep getting the bodies, and I got one arm with Everett, but when I think about the Dr. Mindbender conversion, I think about where these would look in a lab. What would these hired up to? What could I throw together to turn this into something, you know, that's been dissected or strapped down and thrown a blanket over? Little background creations like that. This cool little laptop, I wish I knew where I got it. That's going to my guy. But the rest of this, guys, I'll talk about this all later. You can see there's a lot of plans on the go. What's that? Yeah, tomorrow I'm stripping down a couple of more to try and build another Joe variant, an actual Joe character variant, and build another one of my own creations out of just some parts, because I look at it this way. I've got the gung-ho I want, and I got the gung-ho I started with. Two different gung-hos. I got the Scarlet I preferred out of what was available, and I got the Scarlet we got coming with Retro Line. My pre-order's already in. The right Scarlet is coming. I've got the Retro card Lady J, and I've got the classified version. I'm not saying every double I get. Oh, and I've got my good Snake Eyes, and I got my Desert Commando Snake Eyes. I'm not saying every double I get means that they're getting converted, but I'm not saying they're not. Listen, guys, that's it for tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow or the next day or the day after when I start ripping apart more Joes. But yeah, you can see here, it looks as though I am keeping this Lady J, and that Lady J is going to become something else. Same as Storm Shadow. I've got a Snake Eyes Origin Storm Shadow going on, and more and more and more. I said goodbye, didn't I? Goodbye!